Good evening, everybody. Welcome to
Good
this.
evening, ma'am.
How are you?
Fine, ma'am.
I want to reply from everyone. How is everyone doing?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, Shraddha ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, Suchi ma'am. How are you? Good to hear you.
All good, Shraddha ma'am. Yes. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Long time.
Yes. And I
Okay.
really wait to listen to you. Your guidance, your experience, that matters a lot to all of us.
Thank
And
you
I'm
so
sure
much.
everybody would be enriched with the kind of experience that you have, the kind of things that you share with us, the daily needs, the daily requirement. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Over to you.
They mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. Yes. So we are all here for understanding what is learning disability. Yes. Before we actually go into it, I think all of us have seen the movie Tare Zameen Par.
Yes, we've seen
Yes.
it.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
most of all of us have. So, what is the feeling from the movie? Yes, anybody?
A lot of
Very
little things get unnoticed. In
Okay.
case if they're taken care of well in time, a marvelous action can be taken, a soft life can be dealt with beautifully.
So, early intervention. What you're saying is early intervention,
Ma'am,
acceptance.
importance of attention that parents should give to their child. The love every child needs. The importance of love and attention.
Yes, acceptance. First thing is you have to accept every child can't be the class topper.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the first step for any parent. And as mothers, as a parent, it's not easy for anybody to accept. You or me will not be ready to accept that my child has an issue. First question will be like, why my child? First, you would be in denial. Okay. Uh, so that's the reason we are here. So if I have to share, before I start, this is going to be an interactive session. So I want I will check on you guys whether you guys are paying attention or just switch it off with your video audio and just sitting and enjoying the show kind of a thing. Yes. Anybody wants to try reading this? Nobody?
Okay.
No
And
learning
some,
disabled children here?
I think it's no, but I'll try to read.
Yes, Sahiti, you can go ahead.
When some people look at page, okay, look at a page, the, okay, oh my
The
god.
word.
Okay, the words are, oh no, no, no.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, the words
No,
are
Not spaced
not
correctly.
used correctly. Yeah, exactly. Some people who have dyslexia see words all crushed together when they try to read. That's the first thing. Second thing, some people who have dyslexia say that the words on a page look shadowed or doubled when they try to read. Say that the words on the same line is the second one. No,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The same
okay.
line. Yes.
Some people with dyslexia say that the words on the page look blurred from the center point when they try to read them. The same thing again.
Okay, so we did have some difficulty trying to decipher or read this. For a moment, we thought there's something wrong with our eyesight. At
Yeah.
least when I saw the second paragraph, I thought there's something wrong with my eyes. So
Yes.
what do you understand from
yes.
this?
No, some children will have a doubled vision. They could not see the words, so it will be like dancing. So the second para mentioned about that, and
Yes.
the
So
first para is the reversal of words.
The spacing of the letters and the words are not right in the first one.
Yes. Second para is double division problem children will have. So because of that, they could see all words and letters dancing or not in a proper position for them.
Perfect. So this is how a typically dyslexic or a child with specific learning disability perceives a print that we give. We say, why can't you see the letters? The first thing is, of course, going back to the movie, he says the letters are all dancing. Remember, we had heard this dialogue from the boy. So that is what they see it as. It's not their fault. So when they see things like this, obviously we take time to read, and children will struggle because for them, first they have to decode the whole thing and then decipher the meaning. We as adults, we took time to actually ignore the spaces or correct the spaces in our mind and read it. So we can kind of understand what exactly goes on in the mind of a child. Make sense? Anybody wants to
Yes.
put in anything here? Anybody wants to add? Okay, I want somebody to read the next slide. It's a typical case.
Alex is a 9-year-old boy attending the local public school. He lives with parents and an old sister. His developmental milestones were achieved within normal limits, but this parent and teachers have noticed that he struggles significantly with academic tasks compared to his peers. Alex reads at a level significantly below his grade. He has difficulty decoding words, frequent guesses based on first letter, and struggles with phonic awareness. His handwriting is poor and often illegible. He has trouble organizing his thoughts and translating them into written language. Alex has trouble with basic arithmetic, especially with word problems that require reading comprehension. He is easily distracted, often seems restless, and has difficulty in following multi step instructions. Alex is friendly but sometimes struggles to follow social clues and maintain relationship friendship. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a typical case of LD where we have put in all the conditions together. So there is this boy who's struggling with his reading, with his arithmetic skills, his attention, and his social skills. Child seems to be struggling. So now, with your expertise or your understanding, I want you to tell me how would you handle this particular child, or imagine if you are a teacher, if you're a regular teacher, or if you are a parent, if your child shows these signs and symptoms, how would you address, or what would you have done in this, in a scenario like this? We will not go into the details. I just want to know what plan of action would you be taking in such a scenario. You can think for a couple of minutes, you can put down your points, and then you can let me know about it.
Ma'am, in case of multi-step instructions, like if a child is not able to follow multi-steps, we can start with giving small instructions. Small, so we can make chunks. We can give small instructions. We can start with small instructions in the case of multi-step instructions.
Okay.
So for decoding words, it is difficult. So we need some support system while writing exams or something, so that they could understand. Someone to read out the question paper or something. So it will be very easy for them to be even in class. They needed support system.
Okay, great. Somebody else? Suchi ma'am,
And
what do
for
you do? Sorry,
sorry,
Vidya. Yeah, Vidya, go on.
for multiple step instructions, we can use task analysis, like giving them 2 steps a day. So we can break it. So in that way, we can help the child.
Wonderful. Any maths teachers who can give us how would you deal with his arithmetic issues? The word problems?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, dear.
Ma'am, for in means of maths, we have three types of learners. Three type of learning. We can use concrete method of learning, and if it is in word problem, we can use like strategies such kind of cubes can be used for making them to learn easily, ma'am.
Okay. Maths is something where we use the concrete objects to make them understand the concept better.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Shraddha ma'am, with your permission, I would like to add something.
Yes, ma'am.
With your permission, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. First of all, this is a basic myth that if a child is facing a problem in word problems, the child is not able to understand the concept. These two are different things. Not understanding a word problem is not related to arithmetic problem. Arithmetic problem is where is a child not able to do the concepts which are being taught to him irrespective of any statement given, right? So if a parent, if a child, or if anybody says that my child is not able to do word problem, so I feel that my child is not good at mathematics. It's the biggest myth that I've been facing for so many years.
See, word
Dealing
problems,
with
Suchi ma'am, you're
arithmetic
right.
problem.
Yes, go on. Sorry.
Sorry. So arithmetic problems are basically the 4 operations that we deal with children. We need to finalize, scaffold each information at each step, because I cannot make an IEP for a child which caters to the group. So first, identifying what is the problem with the child, where exactly the help is required, what exactly is the problem that has to be diagnosed and dealt with the exact situation.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're perfectly right, Suchi ma'am. If I don't understand the word problem, if I'm struggling with the word problem, that means my English capacity is, or whatever the language the child is learning in, I have issues with the language. It's nothing to do with
Absolutely, not
my,
with the math.
exactly. I may know what operation to do, whether it's addition or subtraction, but I would not be able to understand what is the problem asking me to do. That's more of your language issues, nothing to do
Right.
with your basic operations
Word
that we do.
problems or basic literacy. Yes, basic literacy.
Yes,
This is different.
absolutely.
If you decipher the
and
information to a child, if you decipher the information to a child in this particular question, you need to add, then subtract, then multiply. There are 80 to 90% chances that the child is able to do that.
Yes. Now, I agree with you. This is a myth we have been trying to convince over the years and change the thought of parents and people in the field, but it's not easy. I agree with you with that part.
No, eventually it will happen, because once you experience these kind of things in your classroom with 40 children over the years, I think 17, 18 years, then it becomes easier.
Yeah, and the problem is all your word problems are usually a tricky one to check on your understanding of the language.
Absolutely.
Nothing
Because
to do
simple
with,
BODMAS is not asked in class 3, where we expect a child to do complex addition and subtraction in the same question.
yes. Okay. So anybody else who wants to tell me something about how would you handle this child? Okay, I want to know what is multiple instruction following in here. Why is multiple instruction so important? I had
In a
multiple
regular
questions.
classroom,
Yes.
in a regular classroom, multiple instruction could be take out your notebook, open page number so and so, we will be doing this. Okay, let's recap what we did yesterday, because at times I see this thing in a general classroom that while recap is happening in the class, teachers are instructing children to take out the notebook, write the date, write the chapter's name. Recap is going on side by side, and then you expect a child to take out the notebook or the workbook or anything else from the bag. And especially when it comes to geometry, take out your geometry notebook, your scale, your protractor, XYZ things. A child with these symptoms take a lot of time. So in
Yes.
case if we have a child like this in our class, we should take it easy.
Yeah.
We should
As
take a chill pill.
Yes, yes. First thing is yes. That's a first thing that we need to do is take a chill pill. I am sitting in your class and you give me an instruction. Take out your English book, open page number 23, answer the question answers in your notebook. I, being a dyslexic person, or okay, we are not supposed to tag the children, but then I just hear the first sentence. Open, take out your English book. My brain stops listening to the rest of the instruction and goes to my bag and takes out the book, and then I'm blank. I don't know what to do because I didn't follow the next series of instructions, and I need to listen to the instructions and work in the same sequence, which I have not done. So there are parents who are like, big deal. Why multiple instructions? But multiple instruction is something which we have taken it as second nature. So for us, it doesn't matter. When you enter the kitchen, if you have to make palak paneer, for instance, you know what to do. You know the sequence of it. We don't have to go step by step looking into a book. So this is multiple instructions, which is very important. We'll come back to this case a little later. Anybody else wants to add something here?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, so like I was reading and listening to a lot of inputs, and one thing, like because he's a 9-year typical boy, and I've often, come across teachers and parents saying, especially between the boys between age group of 8 to 10, that they do have the issues which have been presented over here.
Mm.
And with the better, it's not always that they must be having some learning disability, some learning difficulty, or directly nowadays it's very, I don't know. But okay, my child is having ADHD just because he is not able to follow those multi step instructions, tagging done by the teacher herself. So, yeah, there are so many things that a child is going through. As a teacher, as a educator, we need to understand that there is a 9-year-old child, even he has a lot of things going inside his head. So first of all, let's see how he connects, as there is a older sister at home also.
Mm.
So there are so many things where a child can be in a situation where he feels lost. Lost is in old world, own world, or in his fantasy land, something, or maybe thinking of the previous class which has happened, or coming class coming up, and then the communication gap,
Mm.
because the child over here is having language understanding with the language.
Mm.
Miss Suchi rightly told. So these are the things where we need to tap rather than just directly tagging a difficulty hai child mein,
Okay, okay,
something
makes
like that.
sense. We
Yeah.
haven't labeled this child, we haven't diagnosed this child. It was just a case. I just wanted your inputs. We haven't gone into the details of this case. We just have a child like this. How do you address the problem? We haven't gone to a therapist. We have not gone to a psychiatrist to get the assessment done. There's nothing. There is this child who's come. So, what would we do as people from the field of education? That was all was the question. I get your point, ma'am. You're perfectly correct in your putting that we should not immediately jump to conclusion that the child is struggling. There could be lots of other issues which could be leading to this particular gap in his learning. Right, ma'am? Rahila, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am. Like my point is, we shouldn't be jumping on conclusion. That's
Absolutely. That's one statement. That's a golden rule which we always have to follow. That our children should not be labeled, and even okay, even if they're at risk for some disability, or even after assessment, as special educators, we are never okay. We may know the formal assessment, we may know the actual disability of the child, but we never mention and we never openly discuss this particular disability or tag a child that he is an autistic child, she is a child with dyscalculia. We never do that. It should never be done. Any more points? Anybody wants to put in anything else here? Can we go further? Okay, we'll come back to this case a little later. So now, children who make us wonder. Would you agree that we see children who are struggling with the same thing? We see children struggling. All of us have these issues, who have issues with spelling, with reading, with writing, with some small issues. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
What do we call these children? I'm not I'm not asking you to speak as a specialist. But if you are a layperson, or if it is a parent, or if it is a general teacher with an old school of thought, what would you call a child who is not able to spell? For instance, I have the word horse, HORSE. In a paragraph, I write three different spellings of horse. In a paragraph for 5 lines, I may have three different spellings. Maybe E, one place I may drop the E, HORS. So in the same paragraph of 4 lines, I may have three different struggle to read. Even we go back to the 9-year-old Alex. I may be struggling to read 3-letter words, or even a small word like black, BLACK, black. I may be struggling to read. So what would you call me as an layperson, or what would the society actually call a person like this? We use adjectives. What do we say?
Ma'am, slow learner, but others will call him stupid, duffer. These kind of things will be.
Yes, Yesha, you're perfectly right. Slow, lazy, duffer, failure, nalaik. If you're a Hindi dominant person, you would use words like that. Yes. Anything else? What do we call them? There you go. They're usually called as dumb. कम दिमाग वाला है, इसका दिमाग चलता नहीं है. And one more thing which we have seen with teachers and people, when they have understood very little, or they're not aware about the intricacies of a disability, they casually use a word, your child is ADHD, without even knowing what it means. You just can't use a word like that, your child is ADHD. In fact, frankly telling you, years ago, when my daughter was in school, my one of the teachers casually told me, she didn't know my background, though I went for a PTM, and she casually told me, आपके बच्ची को ना ADHD है. I said, okay. So can you tell me what exactly is ADHD? Why do you feel that? Have you got her assessed? So she went on to tell me some crap. Then I told her, I said, I know my daughter, I'm from the field, I've been in this field for years now. Then she suddenly changed her whole story. She said, no, you know better. Children don't pay attention. And she was very, she went on a different level altogether. So, what I'm trying to say here is we don't use that word just like that. It means a lot. You can't just call somebody that, okay, he's dumb or he can't read, he is a learning disabled person. She has lots of energy, she is a hyperactive person. No, we can't label them like that. Any more adjectives? Anybody wants to add the adjectives here for our learning disabled children? No more? Okay. We know what these children have. We constantly mislabel. They could be having learning disability. It's a hidden disability, as these children look like other normal children but are still different in the way they function. So what is learning disability actually? This is something which we all need to ponder. You agree with this thought? I love this
Yes.
particular picture and I love this thought.
Yes, definitely. Labels are for jars and not for our children.
Yes, don't label
True.
a child. It may be your
Absolutely.
child, my child, somebody's child, son or daughter, whatever it is. Why should
Sorry
we
to
label
interrupt you,
them?
ma'am.
Shraddha ma'am, what you said, what happened at your PTM with your daughter, the other teacher said that, she changed her perspective. But I have seen, what teachers, the other teachers, they say, अरे आप तो इस फील्ड में हो तब भी अपने बच्चे को नहीं देखा. So, they can come up to any kind of statement. That, oh, आपके बच्चे, मतलब they're so overconfident with the fact that what the knowledge they have is absolutely correct. So they can come up to such a nasty statement. आप same field में हो तब भी अपने बच्चे के लिए कुछ नहीं किया.
आपने ध्यान नहीं दिया अपने बच्चे पे.
हाँ, आपने ज्ञान नहीं दिया. And otherwise, backstabbing के साथ साथ they will say चिराग तले अंधेरा है. जब मम्मी
Exactly.
ऐसी है तो बच्चा क्या करेगा?
True.
Exactly,
That's the reason
exactly.
I used to go incognito into her school. I never said what I do. I just went as a parent. And one more problem, now that we are on the topic, I want to share. If I go to her PTM, and once the teachers knew what was my background, they used to take free advice from me. I'm like, nothing doing. I'm not sharing any free advice. They used to come up with cases in the class and they used to tell me, ma'am, how do we handle this particular child? Okay, anyway, that's off the record.
Sorry to
Okay, so,
interrupt you, ma'am. I have a question.
yes, dear.
Yeah, recently you said the problem is ADHD. Can you explain me what is that problem?
We'll proceed. We'll come to the slide of ADHD soon.
Okay, thank you.
I'll tell
Sorry to
you what is
interrupt you.
ADHD. We'll go in detail.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Ma'am,
So
one more
yeah,
doubt.
yes,
Sorry.
dear. Yes,
So
yes.
we should not we label them. So how we will address such students while we meet or we some situation where we have to explain about the student in front of a teacher or in front of a parent. What can we use or how can we?
See, you don't have to label the child as in. First thing is, don't discuss a child's case in front of that particular child or any children for that matter. And when you are in class, I have been part of reputed schools, and there the teacher, when I walk into the class for an observation, you should see, so I mean, it's so unfair or rude on part of the teacher. She says, ma'am, the child sitting there, third row, second one with the chashma, that is a special needs child. Don't do that. You can tell that in a more subtle way.
That's what I have
You,
experienced. So they
what
will
experience?
say in front of like that. I have seen a boy. He's very quiet in home. In home, he's very active, but at school, he's very Nice. So they will point out and say, "This is the boy I told you, no, this is the boy who's like that." So in front of him only, they will tell to me. So that's what I got this,
See, that is the sad part. But having said that, we've come a long way from where, at least I have seen, I would say, a revolution from what where I started to where we are. But still, we are still at the tip of the iceberg. We haven't reached anywhere. But there is hope. Eventually, the society will accept, and there's more sensitivity, and with no offense meant to anybody, the old school of thought will not accept the fact that they say that, in fact, as special educators initially, young special educators will understand my point. When you are a young special educator and you go to a school, the first thing is like the teachers would like, what is it that this person can teach which I can't? I've been in this field for 20 years. I'm a regular B.Ed in those days. I mean, with due respect, no offense meant to anybody. Those days you have been a BA, you need to upgrade your skills. We don't have a Nokia, the olden day phone today. All of us have upgraded. We are not in 2G anymore. We are all in 5G. The sad part is the general teachers don't upgrade, and when there is a special educator or there's somebody who is up to date with the knowledge or the present accommodations available, they're not ready to accept it. That's the scene. Of course,
That's
you go on complaining, there's no end to it.
yes, ma'am.
So we try, and that's the reason we conduct workshops, be it health basics or be it otherwise. We conduct workshops trying to tell teachers and make them more sensitive. Don't discuss a child in front of another child or the same child. Even when I have my interactions with parents, a child is sitting outside. The child doesn't need to hear unless and until the child is old enough to understand and be part of the IEP. Western countries, the children, even they are after the age of 14, 15, they're part of the IEP writing. They will also understand and tell us what they want in the IEP. Till then, that they can be kept away, and don't label them. And even after assessment, I have 5 children who come to me who are formally assessed with, one is an autistic child, one has a motor disability, one has dyscalculic, but I never talk about it in front of the child. Treat them normally. They are all normal children with normal IQ. We'll know what exactly is learning disability. Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
somebody you want to add on something, Vidya?
No. Thank you, ma'am. I got
Anybody
the idea.
else? So we know what is learning disability. It's an umbrella term for a wide variety of learning problems. Now, a simple question: what
Sorry
is
to
the
interrupt you, ma'am. One little thing that you were discussing, like in many organizations, the colleagues, the another teachers, they send students like, मैम प्लीज इसको ना ये प्रॉब्लम है, इसकी ऐसे काउंसलिंग कर दो. मतलब बिना मतलब बच्चों को ऐसे डायरेक्ट भेज दिया जाता है, बच्चा खुद आता है बोलने कि मैम मुझे ये मेरी क्लास टीचर ने भेजा है, आप मेरी काउंसलिंग कर दो. सो अभी अवेयरनेस, आई थिंक अवेयरनेस अमंग आवर कलीग्स एंड अनदर टीचर्स is also very important. Then I
yes,
go to the
absolutely.
teachers and said कि ma'am don't do like this. We can't say direct to the person कि हाँ आपको प्रॉब्लम है, आप जाके खुद अपनी काउंसलिंग कर लो. ऐसे नहीं होता है मैम, बच्चे को अच्छा फील नहीं होगा. सो अभी आई थिंक बहुत ज्यादा अवेयरनेस की नीड है इन सब चीजों पे कि कैसे
You are
हैंडल
a
करना है.
counselor or a special educator?
मैम आई एम अ साइकोलॉजी टीचर एंड काउंसलर.
Okay, okay. So at
Yes,
least
ma'am.
you are still okay that you are a counselor and the teacher sends. Of course, that's not the right way to do it. The teacher has
Okay.
to talk to you about the child, give you the background, what
Yes, ma'am.
issues that she observes,
Yes.
and then you go do your observation, and then you bring
Yes.
out pull the child out of the class
Yes,
for
ma'am.
a session. There's a
Yes,
proper
ma'am.
way of addressing this. It's
Yes.
not
I
that the
always
child.
Yes. Ma'am, I always say that, ma'am, please let me know the problem and let me know the child by name. I will first observe the child in the physical scenario.
Yes.
I will not go direct to him. First, I will observe and then I will talk. So,
Yes.
this is the thing, ma'am, that I want to
Yes,
share.
that is very true what you say, Vani. You need to first the
Yes, ma'am.
teacher will give you the background information. You will go observe
Yes,
the
ma'am.
child in the classroom scenario, wherever you want to observe, and then
Yes,
if
ma'am.
need be, then you will pull the child out for a one-on-one session.
Yes, ma'am, because teachers are following very quick escapism. They directly send the child that, ma'am, you handle. Please, you take care of that. Okay, we are there to take care, but just follow a simple manner. We can't directly say the child because child will see, oh, मैंने ऐसा क्या किया? क्योंकि normally child बहुत कोई issue होता ही नहीं है, but we create that issue. So,
True. That is the way. I mean, we don't have that proper structure, but at least there is some
yes,
understanding that there is a person for such things when it comes to mental issues,
yeah,
behavioral or academic. And there's one more problem which we face, or rather we all face in schools. Your regular general teacher doesn't know the difference between a special educator and a counselor. They
yes,
don't know who
yes, ma'am.
addresses what.
Yes.
So my team in health basics, my team of special
We have
educators
this
have been
problem also,
trying
ma'am.
to educate the
We have,
school people
yeah,
that
yeah.
we are
We are
into
facing this
academic
problem
learning
also.
gaps.
Yes.
This is a typical problem. You won't believe, in a reputed school like one of the DPS in Delhi NCR, the principal asked me, what does a special educator do which my regular teacher can't do? This is the exact words of the principal of a DPS in Delhi NCR. So you can very well understand the level of awareness we have. Anyway, let's not go into that. That's a totally different. We should actually have one session where we just have our complaints.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so a learning disability. Okay, I was trying to ask you, what is the difference between a disability and a difficulty? Anybody?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, dear.
Yes, ma'am. So here, difficulty and disability both are different streams, whereas difficulty it is due to a gap. Like, for example, if we can take a corona period, since corona period, online classes were there, and children we may not be uh, so observed by the teachers, and though they have a lag in their studies, thus it will be reflect in their education, like in means of literacy in reading writing. So it will lead for difficulty. Whereas disability is a condition which is been from their birth.
Absolutely. Disability is if I go to some remote tribe of Africa and if I ask them to read English, I give a page of English, ask the child to read. The child is not able to read. I say, okay, this child is learning disabled. No, it doesn't work. That's the difficulty, the language issue. Probably the child can excel in their local dialect. So that's not difficult. That is not disability. Difficulty is due to various other reasons. It could be corona, it could be economic issues, it could be something else. But disability, like what you said, Aishwarya, it's from birth. It's a genetic issue, neurological issue. And yes, one very important thing about children with learning disability is they are like you and me. They have a normal IQ. For a child to be diagnosed as a learning disabled or a specific a child to be diagnosed to be with specific learning disability, the IQ has to be in the normal range of 90 to 110. This is the IQ of a normal person. So a learning disabled child will have a normal IQ, will go to a normal school, will look normal, will behave normal, behave okay. I mean, there may be some behavioral issues, but they don't look like a child with intellectual disability or your mental retardation. We are not allowed to use the word mental retardation now. It's called intellectual disability. ID. That's what it is. Yes, we go into the detail of this. These children are not lazy or dumb. They're just they're as smart as all of us are. Only thing is हमारा ब्रेन का जो वायरिंग है उनके वायरिंग में कुछ लफड़ा है, or rather the wiring is a little different from our wiring or a normal person, a non-dyslexic person's wiring. As of today, medical world hasn't told us the exact cause, and we don't have a cure ki I have dyslexia, I have been prescribed medicine ABC, 5 दिन ले लिया, 30 days I take this medicine and I'm cured. No. This is not a viral infection. This is a lifelong condition which you can learn to maintain and cope up. Earlier, the earlier you attend to it and you take support and help, the gaps will not be seen and the child will be as successful as a normal adult. All of us have heard enough and more successful people who have had dyslexia as a child. We can all count on our fingers. Yes? So these are normal children with normal IQ. First condition is you have a normal IQ. That's when you get the formal assessment done. Any thoughts on the picture? This is something which we always follow. Not just as a special educator or a counselor or people as a specialist, but even as regular teachers. If I don't understand the way you're teaching, it's not necessary that I have to understand the same way. You can change the way and teach me the way I understand. End of my goal, or rather your goal, is to ensure that I have understood. It's not my way or the highway. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. True.
True, ma'am.
Okay, coming to the technical part of it, you have different, like what we said, specific learning disability. It's not just dyslexia, it's called specific learning disability. That's SLD for you. And there are different types of it. Dyslexia is difficulty with reading, dysgraphia is writing, dyscalculia is maths, auditory processing, and visual processing. Some of us have issues with remembering visually the pictures that we see, and some are really good at it. Some find it difficult to process sounds that we hear. Auditory processing issues. Any points? Can we go to the next one? Can we know in detail of these? Before that, general symptoms, what do you see? What do you see? How do we know that the child has trouble with reading, writing, understanding, following instructions, maths, short attention span, coordination difficulties?
I'm writing
What?
opposite letters.
Yes, reversals. That's the major thing. Having said that, Vani, all children, or rather most children, reverse letters when they are years old. We don't come to the conclusion that yes, the DSM is a diagnostic statistic manual for us specialists, which is published by the US Medical Association. And there it says all these symptoms or the signs which we see should be persistent at least 6 months. Sees a new child in the month of April when the academic session begins. Within 2 weeks, she calls me and she says, Ma'am, this child is dyslexic, he has reversals, he has this issue, he has that issue. No, you need to observe the child for a period of time. At least all these symptoms should last for 6 months. Only then we go further investigation. You start labeling like that, every second child in the classroom, out of 30, at least 15 would have learning disability. Does it look like that? The child should show quite a few of these symptoms for a longer period of time. Can we move on? Too much of information? We all need a break?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes. What do we see here? Give you 2 minutes. Whatever is the first thing you see in the picture which comes to your mind, put it down, because you will look at it for a longer period, maybe you'll see different things.
A dog.
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 Don't say it. Just put it down. Don't give ideas to others. Each one will have a different vision. Everybody has seen something in this picture? Yes? Can we analyze what you have seen? Oh, nobody's curious to know. Okay, we go back to LD then.
No, definitely we would like to know.
No, because nobody answered. I thought everybody is more serious and interested in knowing LD than actually knowing yourself.
No, definitely I would like to know. I saw the dog
Okay.
first, then the snake, and then the butterfly. That was the sequence in which I saw.
No, wait. Let's see what everybody saw. Okay, I want your responses now. What did you all see? You can take
Ma'am,
turns to tell me what you
A
saw.
child from the upper view.
Okay. Where did you see a child from? Okay.
Like a head of a child. अगर हम उसको ऊपर से देखते हैं
Not the head of a child. Two people are sitting. Like one is a child and another one is sitting with him.
Oh my God.
Butterfly.
It is
Yeah, Vidya.
it is I have seen this when I was having my psychology class. It is about perception, visual perception. This slide I have remembered the first class. So
These are
everyone
all
has a
your visual
different perception.
perception. Yes, these are
Yes,
all your visual perception activities. Okay, I don't want you
yes,
to
ma'am.
use that here. Just tell me what you saw first.
First, I only saw the dog's face. Then only the other analysis happened. Then I
Okay.
saw the other things.
According to me, there's a face of a dog and there's something in his mouth. Something
Okay.
is in his mouth.
I saw a butterfly.
Okay. Okay. Did somebody see a row? Nobody saw an eagle also. I didn't get eagle as an answer.
Ma'am, I saw wings.
Okay. So there must be some bird. If you have seen a wing, should be a bird. I mean, that's what I believe.
Exactly that I was saying. No? Something is in his mouth. So that wings
Oh,
are
okay.
attached to it. Yeah.
Okay. So you
I guess
can.
I even saw lion's eyes and dog, butterfly.
Okay. Okay. Anybody who saw a dove or an eagle, you can read it. You want me to read it? I'll read it for you. I don't think anybody saw an eagle or a. Nobody saw a bird here as such, other than the wings. We did see butterflies and dogs. The butterfly is often associated with transformation and transcendence. Starting as merely a caterpillar, it enters in its chrysalis and emerges a big, beautiful butterfly. I think again, time you go through a difficult time in your life, you bounce back better than before. Dogs are considered to be loyal and selfless. If you saw the dog, you're a loyal friend, supportive person to everyone you love. You bring joy to those closest to you, and people trust you and stand by their side.
Happy to
Okay.
know about this.
Wolf. Somebody saw a wolf, a dog.
I saw eyes of someone, so maybe it was fox. I was calling it
Fox, wolf,
lion's eyes.
dog. Yes, that was more prominent. Actually, even I saw a wolf or a dog. That's what even I saw first. So there you go. We didn't understand what learning disabilities. First, let us know ourselves. Okay. All of us love to do this. Find faults with others. What is a mistake in the picture? There's a big blunder in the picture. Nobody?
Ma'am, the water is only at the one side, not beyond the bridge.
Yes. You don't see water. The water should be on the other side of the bridge as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All of us were eager to find the error. So we enjoy and we like to find mistakes in others. How many of us actually work on ourselves, our mistakes, correct ourselves? In fact, when I give a passage to my children to do proofreading, they're so happy. I tell them, Shraddha ma'am has made 8 errors in this paragraph. I want you to find the error. They're like, ma'am, we could find all errors. You made such silly errors. Feels so good, no? To find errors with somebody. That joy and that satisfaction inside there. Okay, back to our business. Learning disability is average or above average intelligence. They have difficulties in writing, reading, maths, organization. This is what we just read. I mean, I think we understood this. To go in detail and what learning disability isn't. This is what we were talking about. That this is the difference between difficulty and disability. This is not mental retardation, not hearing and visual impairments, environmental, cultural, economic disadvantages. Yes? Any points which need to be added, or anybody wants to add something or differ on these things?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, we did see that different kinds of learning disability. Dyslexia is a language and reading disability. Dyscalculia is with maths and arithmetic. Dysgraphia is writing disorder. Dyspraxia, sensory integration, and NVLD is your non-verbal learning disability. To talk a little bit more in detail about each, dyslexia is one of the specific learning disabilities where you have difficulties with word recognition, poor spelling, decoding. They typically result from a deficit in the phonological component of the language, which is unexpected in relation to the other cognitive abilities and the provision of effective classroom instruction. So, what do we usually see in dyslexia? Children misspell the words. I may know the spelling of the word as simple as cat, C-A-T, cat, at a cat. But I may know that it has these 3 letters C, A, and T. but I may not put it in the sequence. I may write it as CTA. I know that these three letters are there, but I don't know the sequence of putting it. CTA is wrong. The spelling is wrong. And it is not just doing once. And sometimes we adults, we have this. If we have misspelled a word, we go read it, we say visually there's something wrong. The letters are not in order. We go back to it, and that's because we visually know the sequence of letters. These children have difficulty in processing in their brain. That is dyslexia. Basically, that's the reason today we focus on your phonological awareness. The pre-primary and the Montessori training is all your phonological awareness. What we learned, or rather, people of my generation, we learned the hard way. We learned ABCD. Today, children are learning ABAC, which is a simpler and an easier and a better way of learning the sounds and the alphabets. When I learn the sounds, b, at, I put together and I make bat. If you give me an unknown word also, I may not know the word, but I can still phonetically break it and spell it if I'm confident about my phonics. That's the reason we focus on this phonological awareness, where we work on the syllable sounds. Each syllable has a vowel in it, and we break the word according to the number of syllables in it. That's a technical part of it. Too much information? Okay. Dysgraphia is a person's ability to write. We all have seen this, yes? The way children hold the pencil. It's normal to hold like this. As a kid, they may hold like this. I've seen children holding it like a knife also. The tripod grip which we have, the proper tripod grip, is something which will not put pressure anywhere. If you don't have the normal tripod grip, the pressure here on your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder will increase, and eventually the child will have physical discomfort if you don't have the correct grip. And that's when your handwriting goes for a toss, your letter formation, everything goes for a toss. The grip is very important. That is usually corrected by an occupational therapist. Your fine motor skills are usually worked on if the child has an issue, and you do get your grippers. You have your accessories now, the aids that you have. You get it online as well, where you put in the gripper to ensure that the child has proper pressure on the paper. You should not, we have seen some children, they put so much pressure, there's an imprint on 2 pages after that as well. And there's some children who hardly put any pressure, where we can't even see what's written. So these are all issues with your writing. Any inputs? Any points? Anybody wants to add on to this?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, what is the right age for a children to give him like to hold the pencil or the grip building basically?
Ideally, in our country, we start quite early, but the Western countries don't let a child to write formally till the age of 7. That's what the Western
Yes,
countries
ma'am.
believe. And if you see,
Yes,
even
ma'am.
as kids, we all pencil. We had those broad ones, which you all fat crayons, which you get. So you don't start with something really fine motor like a pencil. You go with those fat ones, where the child understands how to hold. And then we slowly reduce the size of it. And if you must have noticed, children hold the marker also. You crayon or the marker, they start like this. So that
Yes, ma'am.
gripping,
Because I have
yeah.
because I have seen I have a niece, and he holds the pencil the way you are telling.
Like this.
Yeah, like this. Right, right. Yeah. So he is like 3.5, but still he's holding in the same way.
See, so don't give him a pencil right away. Give him something which is little more fatter or broad ones for him to hold. Pencil is the very intricate thing. The diameter of a pencil is very less. So the fine motor skills and the hand has to develop. So he needs to understand how much grip, how much pressure he needs to have, how he needs to hold. Start with those really huge crayons. Don't go to a pencil at 3 years. Ideally you should not be doing it, but we do. Our system is not like that. We start making a child right before the age of 4, and each child is different here because the milestones. And now you go into the developmental history of the child. If a child is not born full time, if the child is a premature baby, for instance, if the baby is born in the 7th month, so that 2 months the child has missed the development inside the womb. So but we
Yes,
expect the child to perform at par with his age. He is 2 months behind the others.
yes, ma'am. So true.
So there are these things, and everybody doesn't walk at the age of 1. Everybody doesn't talk at the age of 1.2 or 9 months or whatever it may be. Each one has their own different milestone. And that is the reason, as people from the field, we never recommend a child to be formally assessed or the IQ test not to be done till the age of 7, because it's believed that the brain development is on till the age of 7. One child may show development at 5.6, the other one's brain may take time and may develop at 6.6. So ideally till the age of 7 the IQ tests are not recommended. You can't know if a child has learning disability till the age of 7. Even if you do a testing prior to that age, you will just get a report saying that at risk. You can't label the child, if I have to use that word. You can just say that the child is at risk for some particular disability, but not actually say that this child has this particular disability.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope that answers your question, dear.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. Any more? Can we go further? Yes, somebody's raised the hand.
Yeah, sorry, ma'am. My question is answered. Thank you so much.
Okay. So typically dysgraphia, how do you know? Poor handwriting, difficulty with spelling, trouble with writing tasks. We know children avoid writing. Their writing could be very slow, and when they do copy from board, organizing thoughts on paper and producing written content can be extremely challenging. If you can see somebody what they have written next to the pizza there, if you could understand what it says mouth.
Mouth watering pizza.
Yes, you could read it. Of course, the spelling is wrong. The child is phonetically correct. I don't find anything wrong with the child. So again, writing is something we take it as second nature. If I have to copy from the board, why do some children take longer time to copy from board and some children are super fast in the same class? Say the child is in grade 1. I put in a sentence, the cat sat on the mat. This is my sentence. Why does a child take longer time to copy that sentence from the board?
Might be the eyesight is weak.
Okay.
No, ma'am. I think the
No, ma'am. Actually, when a child is reading, if they have the understanding of phonetics and everything, and they can join the letters and may read a word, then they read the proper word, the cat. Okay, but if a slow learner or a student with disability, they do not understand sometimes phonetics, and they cannot read the letters together. So what they do, they read they read letters one by one, T, H, E, so that they are writing the letters exactly the same way. That is why they write slower than the other students.
Makes sense. Yes. Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. The brain interpretation might take time with both the kind of students.
Okay. If I have to put it, yeah. Sorry, Vidya.
Yeah, while we write, they will read the correct word, but while writing, they will miss the letter. So such sequence I
Why?
have been experienced. One of the
Why?
sequence. Because
Why?
yeah, why is that they would the two letters are very clear to them, so they'll write it confidently, or they will misplace, or they'll miss the letter itself.
Okay.
Because the word organization might be a problem for them.
Ma'am,
Okay.
if we ask in a layman person term, if a child of same age is not writing, might be he has very less interest in writing because children becomes very moody and cranky. They are ready to speak, but they are very difficult. They are feeling very difficult to write because we what we notice that children are very moody and cranky. If they are not in the mood, they will not write, even though if they are have skills to do that the same.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. The cat sat on the mat. I am a child. I cannot read that phonetically, or I cannot read the whole word. In a classroom scenario, the teacher would have written so much on the blackboard or a whiteboard today, the smart board rather, and there is a list of absentees. There's a small column to note down your homework, important, your diary note, your date, your thought for the day, your whatever. Or the board is covered with all kinds of information. In between, the teacher would have written, there would be some maths work on one side, the children may not have completed, the teacher would have left that on the board. And then the English teacher comes and she says, the cat sat on the mat. I am a child. I may be sitting right under her nose. I look at it. First thing is, in that big ocean, I have to find my sentence. First problem. Then I find my sentence. Then I look at the first word, T-H-E, the. I don't know the word the. I come down, write down T. I go back to the board. Again, in that ocean, I search for the T. Find the adjacent letter, which is H. I come down, write down the H. In between, I could get distracted by my neighbor asking me for an eraser, Didi walking into the classroom, or some noise, whatever. Again, I am lost. I go back to the board, look for the track, that H, write the E. If I knew the word, the moment I see THE the, I would have written THE the. So 1/3 the time I would have written the word. 3 times I've gone up and down the board. My coordination with the board and my book. So now we know why the child, if I've done it thrice for the word THE, imagine how many times will I go for cat sat on the mat. That's the reason our children are slow. What can we do? We'll come to what can we do a little later. How will we help these children? Before they start writing, like one of you said, they need to be phonetically aware, they need to read and understand. Before you go into writing, your reading skills have to be good enough. If I can read the whole thing, if I can say the cat sat, if I can read all three together, I can still write the. Go back, look for cat, write the word cat. So my reading has to be good enough if I have to work on my writing. So they are all interlinked. Now again, reading. Reading involves your reading and understanding. I may read very well, but I don't understand what I'm reading. Why? Because all my effort is gone in deciphering the word. Ka at ta. I am trying to decipher. Okay, this is C. It gives you the sound ka, and this is a. This is a, which gives you a, and this is ta. Ka at ta. I am trying to decode the word. I'm not paying attention to what it means. So that is where you're reading, you're struggling with your reading. Then reading is sorted, then you come to your writing. These things which we take for granted are not taken for granted. These basic, we like, itna bhi samajh mein nahi aaya. No, it's a very complicated process. It may sound very easy for us. The cat sat on the mat. That involves so much. That's the reason our children struggle. Okay. Dyscalculia is basically your ability to understand and work with numbers. When I say 29, it's usually written as 92. And your mathematical reasoning, and it's called as number blindness. Just like the way you have issues with your letters, you have issues with your numbers. We often see children reversing numbers. Like one of you mentioned about reversals. Your BD is a common reversal which we have seen. B is written as D, D is written as B, which is common in children. But if it persists after a point of time, it needs help. Similarly, 6 and 9. 6 is written as 9, 9 is written as 6. 7 is usually written the mirror image. 7 children don't write like this, they write like this. The mirror image, their brain sees it like that. And ideally, if I say 69, I will write it as 96 because my brain records the last image or the last information first. So 69, when I say 69, the last information my brain has got is 9. So it's from there. That's a reversal. That's what we see. They have issues with number sense, math sensitivity. This is seen with more of our children. Have anxiety and frustration when faced with mathematical tasks, which can have excavatory difficulties. Okay, dyspraxia is the next one. Is dyspraxia, which is a developmental disorder which affects the motor coordination and the ability to perform tasks that require fine and gross motor skills. So you have fine motor skills again using scissors. I have seen children as late as 12 years, 13 years who can't handle a scissor. They have that motor difficulty. They have coordination. They have issues playing your tennis or your badminton. And then that's when all your occupational therapy comes into picture with your midline crossing. If I have to tell you a little bit about coordination issues, if I tell a child, touch your right knee with your left hand, is very difficult because my left hand has to cross the midline. This is my midline of my body. It has to cross this side and go and touch my right knee, which may sound very simple and stupid for us, but it is not. These children suffer from these coordination issues. Tying shoelaces is an issue for a very long time. Planning, organizing, sensory processing, and they're little sensitive to noise, to some kinds of sound. And there are children who have sensory issues where they have problems with certain textures. Children don't like crunchy things. Apple is something which they don't want to eat because it's quite crunchy. And we have issues with the labels. Some children have a problem with that texture. It irritates them. Too much. Okay, time to wake up. Which glass do you think has the most water? 2 minutes to think about it. Yes. All school science brains started activated. What did we learn in our school? Or did we really understand something in school? There is no catch in this, it's a direct answer. Which one? Nobody? Hello, wake up.
Glass with the office pen.
Glass with the B one.
Office with B.
I didn't get you. Sorry, Suchi ma'am.
Which glass you think has the most water in it? I go for option B.
B.
Same here. I also want to go for the option B.
Okay.
I go for option B.
Okay.
What's there in option C? Is it eraser or is it
It's
something?
an eraser. It's an eraser.
Eraser.
Even I think it's option B because I can't explain a science funda here, but the object is the lightest, so obviously the
Same thing. I
quantity
also
of
want
water
to
is more.
as per the weight of the object.
Yeah, I'm not a science student. This was just to ensure that all of you are awake and still there with me. Nothing to do with my LD. Okay, this would be more a visual perception activity again. There are 5 hidden animals in this. Try locating them. Located, I'll give you the answer in the next slides.
I missed the previous slide, Shraddha ma'am. What was the correct answer for that?
The correct answer was B. Yes.
B.
That's what
Okay.
even I believe because with my little science experience, I can tell you the object was of the lightest object was
The
in
least volume, yes, the lightest
yes,
volume and the least volume,
yes. You
and
can
hence the
explain
water
better
level.
as a
No,
maths
no,
teacher. You
that's
can
okay.
explain.
No, no, that. And in this slide, do we have to tell right now the animals or
You can look at it. I will share the answer in the next slide. Make a mental note of it. You
okay?
want to take a picture, you can take it for later use as well. You want, I can share this one also later.
So, ma'am, can I tell it?
You want to share? Go ahead.
Yeah. I can see an elephant, a chick, and a hen.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 I have figured out.
Okay, wonderful. Need more time? Can I show you the answers?
Yes,
Anywhere close? Anybody got all the 5 animals?
I got all the 5 animals.
Bingo. Pat your back. Okay, one of you was asking me what is attention deficit disorder? Attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADD or ADHD. ADHD is a condition that becomes apparent in some children in preschool and early school years by the age 6. It's hard for these children to control their behavior and pay attention. ADHD is not learning disability. It could be a comorbid condition for children with learning disability. In the worst scenario, or if it is a very severe condition, medications are advised. But personally, you ask me, I am not for medications because medications do have their share of side effects on these children. They're very harsh. So, to tell you a little bit about what is ADHD, a child is not able to focus and is very hyperactive. It's like you have batteries on your feet all the time. You're on the go. Sounds good. Initially, the child is full of life and very active, overactive. But what happens in a classroom scenario? What is the problem if the child is hyperactive in a classroom scenario over a long period of time? As a kid, in a preschool is still okay. But what happens if the child is in grade 3 or grade 4? What happens then? How does this affect my learning? Anybody?
Ma'am, he misses on the ongoing syllabus. He can't focus on the
Yes.
academics.
Yes.
And ma'am, somewhere he's also disturbing the another children or teacher. Teacher is not able to focus on another because to make him calm, to make him sit at the place, he has to focus more on that child.
So he's always on the go. He misses out the instructions given by the teacher. He may not complete his work. We do have these complaints from parents and teachers. He doesn't complete his work. His class notebook is always incomplete. The reason because he's not sitting in his place. That in-seat behavior is not there. And he's easily distracted here and there. He may be running inside the class, running out of the class, disturbing and distracting other children. Okay, difference between ADD and ADHD. Attention deficit is more of daydreaming and they don't disturb and they're not hyperactive. As the term says, ADHD is more of the hyperactive, full of energy. And for these children, your instructions have to be very short and crisp. They can't listen to you for more than 2 to 3 minutes. They disturb others, is impulsive, may show aggression, may have poorly formed letters or words because they want to get rid of everything and go away. They don't want to do what they're doing. हड़बड़ी में जो काम करते हैं, that's what it is. Any inputs or any thoughts on this? Okay, now coming to the what to do. What to do if my child has learning disability or if I suspect some kind of a problem with my child. How do I address? I am a teacher.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yes.
By what age I can see all these symptoms?
See, like what I said, DSM-5 says these symptoms have to be present for over a period of 6 months. And having said that, early intervention, if the child is showing symptoms even as early as the age of 4.5, 5, you can sense that there is some issue. The child may not go for a formal assessment, but you sense that there is some issue for the child.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
because the I'm coming to that point here, because early intervention is something which we always recommend, because earlier the better, wherein the gap is not as much as what it would have been. As in, if the grade 1 child has issues with B and D reversals, basic phonic sounds, and the child goes without getting any help or support and ends up in grade 4, imagine the amount of academic pressure the child will have. So, correcting that child or supporting that child or bringing the child back on track will take a longer time in grade 4 than in grade 1.
And
The
ma'am, if intervention is not done at the primary level, or at if a school at a play class, the child become rigid to change, because the
Yes,
child adapts rigidity, and then we face very difficulty to change that
absolutely.
child.
Absolutely. All of us drive, or rather, most of us drive a car. When we started from a manual car, we all learned in a manual car, shifting from a manual to an automatic. That is unlearning, or rather, relearning a new thing. It's not easy. And at my age, I can tell you that learning anything new is not easy. For a child, I may have learned a particular way of holding a pencil. Coming to a simple thing of your pencil grip, I may have learned a particular way, and when I'm in grade 4, I get in touch with a therapist, and they tell me, not like this. You have to hold like this. First, I have to unlearn this and then relearn this. Not easy. It will take time. It will happen, but the result is not quick, and it is quite a challenge. And having said that, again, this remediation or whatever support or interventions that we do is not instant noodle at all. It takes time, patience, and time. Parents come to me, 1 month we have taken the session, nothing happened. Nothing will happen. The problems of 2 years cannot be solved in 2 months. A child comes to you, or rather is taken for some kind of an support only when he or she shows a gap of at least 2 years. If the child is 6 years and the academic performance is at that of 4 years, that means at least there is 2 years of gap. You expect me to bridge that gap of 2 years in 2 months? Not possible.
Ma'am, I have a doubt because I was handling a kid. He is an autistic kid, but the ADHD qualities are there. He won't sit in a place at all, and he's age of 15 years. So
Oh,
I give
okay.
him I give him coloring. I have no other option. Otherwise, he will distract the whole class. Even I went to a house visit. There also, he doesn't sit at home at all. He'll be on the road all the time.
Hmm.
So it was very new experience, but I could not control at times. But I have to make him only the drawing or coloring or something, painting. If I give, he will sit for a while, and he will not distract the class. Otherwise, he will say, I'll go to the cupboard and take the crayons. I'll do that. I'll do that. Like that, he will not. He will just escape from. So I think so. Autism kids also have these traits.
They have that. I mean, like what I said, it's a comorbid condition. ADHD, ADD, autism, LD, these are all comorbid. If somebody has LD, there is a chance that they have ADHD also. Somebody is on the spectrum, they may have, spectrum is your ASD, autism spectrum disorder, they may have a comorbid condition of ADHD. And usually, children on the spectrum, of course, it's a totally different thing, but they have fixations. They're fixated to certain things. In your case, I think this child is fixated to these colors and crayons.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
They're fixated on one particular subject, and they would go on with that particular thing for a long time. You ask them to do something else, they will not want to do it.
Yeah, he the same, ma'am. What you said is right. He will not do anything else, but he has the talent to put button and everything, but he will not show the patience. Patience is
And
very zero.
And one more thing which I've seen about children on the spectrum, that is autism, they pick up or they grasp things like this. Teach them once, they
Yeah,
will not forget.
yes, ma'am. That is also true what you're
They
saying.
will
It's
never
complete.
forget. Yes.
Yeah, that is very
Yes, they will never forget. And unlike art, that's what I tell everybody. In fact, my mother doesn't support that I work with these kinds of children. So I say my children are smarter than the regular children. Teach them once and they will not forget.
yes, ma'am. That's true.
Okay, so what? Coming back to this, let's quickly wind up. We are already late. So, what do? You take the history of the child. You speak to the parent, family background. What is the developmental milestone? This is an important thing to understand in a child. Like what we were speaking about the milestones: normal delivery, premature milestones were at the normal thing, normal age, and then. Language development, and then if the need be, if the child is over the age of 7, you ask for a formal assessment. Formal assessment is basically your IQ test, which is done by a professional. And once you have the assessment done, what do? How do you manage this? You have two things to take care of: accommodations and interventions. What is the difference between accommodation and intervention? Nobody? I bored you so
Accommodation,
much.
like we are supporting the child, like while reading or writing, we give a full support, or while in the classroom or in exam point of view, reading the question paper or something. That type of support which we give is
Intervention.
accommodation. Intervention is while we address that he is lacking in problem in reading, we are giving a one-to-one session, and we make a short smart goal for him, and we will see how much he is achieved. So intervention comes in that part.
Yes, intervention is you're working on his deficits, be it his spelling, be it his writing, be it his reading. You're working on the deficit to try to correct or improve his scenario. And accommodation is when a child is formally assessed, you ignore the spellings, you don't deduct the marks for his spellings, and you provide a scribe. CBSE gives you enough and more accommodations. You provide a scribe, you provide a reader for the child in your board exams. That's what your accommodations that's given by the government. Okay, interventions. Who all does the intervention? Your trained professionals, your occupational therapists, your special educators, all your therapists come there. What do? You do your remediation, your therapy to work on your sensory deficits, like what I said about what we had said about what happens with the label, with the crunchy food, the sensory things. That's where your therapists come into picture. Your occupational therapist, your speech therapist. And where does all this happen? It could happen in a school scenario. If you have a SEN department, that's your special education department. If the school is sweet enough to have everything under their roof, or you have it in clinics, and you have it in special centers, or you could have it even in hospitals. Any inputs? Can we go further? Of course, I'm a little quick on the slides. Okay, to go a little away from what it is, what does the law give us? You have this People with Disabilities Act, which says there's equal opportunities, protection of the rights, and full participation of the children who have disabilities. And sadly, this particular thing happened in the year 1995. And then they had only these 7 conditions or 7 disabilities: blindness, low vision, leprosy cured, hearing impaired, locomotor, mental retardation, and mental illness. Sadly, this particular thing act helped people whose disability was visible. We cannot see learning disability, we cannot see autism. Can you see a child? Can you say that, okay, this child's learning disability is visible to me? No, we can't. So this law in 95 recognized more of the physical disabilities, not the mental ones. And for mental, it was just a umbrella term which they used.
Shataman, may I ask something here?
Yes, dear.
Um, Now, what we felt in our school that the children, those who were given additional help, additional support during the assessment and otherwise, that has been stopped because that's what they're saying that the CBSE has taken all the relaxations back from children. They will just be given half an hour extra for the test, but no other, like they will not be given simplified papers or modified papers, or any extra help will not be given.
No, that's not true, Suchi ma'am. Till grade 8, it is all internal, and the school, once a formal assessment is submitted to the school and to the CBSE board, they have to change and modify the paper with more of MCQs and one word and fill in the blanks.
That we used to do till last year. That we used to do till last year. But starting, in the session 2022-23, that was the last session we had this. 23-24 and now 24-25 session, we've been told to completely stop giving all the extra support that was being given to these children when it comes to assessment.
Which is
No
not
extra
right.
help is being given.
Even for grade 10, 9 and 10.
9, I don't know about 9th and 10th, but till 8 they have stopped.
Oh gosh.
If you remember some children, if you remember Lakshita, cerebral palsy, yes, you remember her. So she
I
had
remember.
also appeared for, yes, so she's also appeared for the same test which is given by other, which is taken by rather other children. No extra help, no extra support, nothing else.
Which is not
And
right.
this has been told, this has been communicated to us by the head of institution that these changes have been made by CBSE.
No, I don't think so. So, okay, I'll talk to you on a personal level, Suchi ma'am, about this.
All
Uh,
right. Thank you.
and then to sum it up, the last part is the act was revised in 2016 to add all these things. So then, so now you have 21 disabilities in it. So learning disability has come into this. The reason why I'm talking about this is the learning disability has been added to this in 2016.